What's up, guys and girls? Surly Mechanic here. Um, this particular episode is going to be a quick one. I've been a little caught up in the new job, so I just want to say get out and do something. Go ride your four-wheeler, go ride your dirt bike, take the car for a cruise up to the burger joint. Get that oil changed. It's tax time, put tires on your car. Assuming you're not paying in like some of us. I was thinking about a funny incident that happened several years ago. I helped my brother fix a cylinder head on a Chevy Cavalier, and one of the rockers kept vibrating loose. The nut that held the rocker in place. And we tried all kinds of stuff. Loctite and everything. It just kept vibrating loose. 2 or 3 weeks. You cinch it up, 2 or 3 weeks later. You hear it rattle, 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 rattle. So finally I came up with an idea that ended up working, I think, for the rest of the time he owned the car. Or my grandmother owned the car. Lock washers. It's the dumbest thing, but it worked. I took 2 lock washers and rotated them against each other to where they butted up. Cinched it down, and we never had a problem after that. I'm sure it was lock washers and Loctite, but lock washers. Just a funny repair. I'm trying to think of anything else I'd ever done. Alright, so you guys know, my mechanics out there will know, shift linkages for your automatics. The little bushing on the side of the transmission that'll wear out, it'll wallow out. You could take, and they have repair kits at AutoZone and O'Reilly's, in case you don't know that. Go to AutoZone, because the O'Reilly's here in my hometown is full of goofballs. Anyway, zip ties. So here's your linkage. Here's your transmission, right? Here's your selector on the transmission. There's a bushing that holds these two together, because this is an open end. And it slips over that selector, and the bushing pops against that. It's kind of like a cone shaped, I guess you could say. It just slips over it, pops in place. You could just take and zip tie this to this, zip tie the shift linkage together. I've done that a handful of times on my own stuff. This is actually a recent story here. I haven't used the zip tie on the shift linkage in a while, but so my F-150 outside, I didn't realize had a separate relay for the trailer lights. And for the life of me, I still can't find it. Ford says it's there. I can't find it anywhere. Because my left trailer lights weren't working on anything that I plugged into it to tow. So I ended up running a fused link from the left side of the trailer harness up to it was the running lights, not the brake lights would work and the turn signals would work, but the running lights wouldn't work. That's what it was. So I ended up running a fused link from the trailer harness where you plug it in up to the license plate illumination lights. And that's what my running lights for a trailer run off of. Probably not the correct way to do it, but it works. What else have I done? Spend a couple minutes talking about silly repairs. I made a trailing arm bushing out of the silicone window adhesive for like putting a window in, a windshield in, the black stuff, the real sticky stuff. I made a trailing arm for a foiler out of that stuff one time. That was pretty funny. Taped it up and left a little spot to shoot it into the trailing arm. Left the old bushing in it and just backfilled it. Made a solid trailing arm mount. I want to say that was like a Honda something or other. That might have been a side-by-side, to be honest with you. It might have been a Yamaha side-by-side. I don't know. That's neither here nor there. Window adhesive to make a trailing arm. Did that. And then... yeah. I welded up I took some box tubing, like some 8-inch box tubing, and made a 3-row radiator one time for a friend of mine's car. Tanks on the side, box tubing run long ways, second set of box tubing, third set of box tubing. The radiator was only like a 20 by 20. It was silly. It worked, but it was silly. Trying to think of some other stuff that I have done. Alright, so most people have transmission jacks, right? Go out and buy a transmission jack. That's cool. That's no problem. I have a Pittsburgh 3-ton jack, and I took some 2x4s and made a foot that fits onto the end of my jack to put a transmission on and jack it up. I've also used an ATV lift as a transmission jack because it doubles as a ATV lift and motorcycle lift. I think the jack on my current one is, the actual pump itself is bad. What else? There was something else I was thinking of the other day. JB Weld. I've used some JB Weld on some stuff before. So back about 2004, 2005, I scored a free Honda Nighthawk off of somebody that I was working with because it had a crack in the block from him trying to take the motor mounts off to pull the motor out for whatever reason. I don't know why. He put too much strain on one side where the frame mounts to the block, and it pulled a little crack in the aluminum. And my dad and I cleaned it up and JB welded it, sanded it. It was good to go. My dad loaded that in the trunk of the engine, not the whole motorcycle. Loaded the engine up in the trunk of a Toyota Corolla and brought it down to Georgia for somebody. I don't remember how much he got for it, but I remember my cut was $200 or something like that. What else? Oh, I got a generator out next to the barn here that I got for nothing, just to take and fix. It also has a small crack in the bottom of the block that I got for my in-laws to use, that I also JB welded that too. And so far so good. They still haven't grabbed the generator, but whatever. You can get it when you want it. So JB Weld, zip ties, duct tape. I'm trying to think of something I use duct tape for. I don't think I've ever used duct tape. I think I've been too proud to put duct tape on anything. Oh, here's a good one. So you can get the knockoff Axe body spray at Family Dollar, Dollar General, Dollar Tree, whichever one of the ones is in charge right now. And it's the knockoff Axe body spray. The black caps on the top of them. I used one of them one time. It's still on my grandmother's car, Ford Focus. There's like a silencer chamber that comes off the side of the air intake. Well, hers had disintegrated to the point where it was just drawing in unfiltered and unmetered air and throwing a mass airflow sensor off. So I took some silicone. That cap was the same diameter as that tube that goes down to that chamber, silencer chamber, and noise reduction chamber, whatever you want to call it. And I just siliconed it to the intake tube and called it good. And that was 3 years ago, and it was fine the last time I popped that hood. Make do. I got a welding machine outside that I'm just too lazy to go buy a ground lug for, and I use channel locks to clip the ground cable to the ground lug on the machine. Alright, so we're at Zip Ties, JB Weld, RTV, Permatex is the best stuff. And what we use? Window installation silicone sealant, and now channel locks, or vice grips, vice grips. So there's 5. Let's see if we can come up with 6, because this is episode 6. No. Mm-mm. You know, for the life of me, I can't think of a 6. Trying to think of silly repairs that I've done to make do. Alright, so here's something cool. You guys remember 24 years ago now when neon lights under cars was the cool thing? Now everybody calls them rock lights, which I think is crap. Whatever. I wowed a few of my friends when I figured out, I was reading an article or something somewhere in a magazine. This is before I had full-time access to the internet that wasn't dial-up. But you could hook a neon light in line with an amp, and when the bass hit, it would flash. So I drove around with a LED, not an LED, it was neon. A neon purple shift knob. I forgot where I'd put it, like in the cup holder or something of my Cavalier. When the bass hit, it would strobe. Boom, boom, boom. And it wasn't even a shift knob that was going to fit my Cavalier. And all my friends were like, how'd you do that? And I'm like, you just hook it up to the amp. When the bass hits, it energizes. So that was pretty funny. Been a long week. Gonna continue being long weeks for a while. I have some goals in mind. A lot of them involve Surly Mechanic stuff, and some of it just is not. So I want to say thank you to everybody watching. Thank you to everybody subscribing. Make sure you like, subscribe, question, comment, concern. If there's any kind of trick or something you rigged up, something you put in place as a temporary that became a permanent, hit the comments below and let us know. Thank you.